The Major League Baseball season opens tonight. The Yankees visiting the Giants in San Francisco. WNYC's Amanda Rosone has more.
Tonight's game will be the first ever to play live on Netflix, marking the start of the streaming platform's new partnership with MLB. The Yankees are coming off an early exit last year when they were bounced by the Toronto Blue Jays in the division series. Ace pitcher Garrett Cole didn't play last year, so fans are hoping that his return will fortify their pitching staff. That rotation includes rookie pitching sensation Cam Schlittler and Max Fried, who led the American League with 19 wins last season. The Bronx Bombers didn't make too many other changes this offseason, but they did bring back slugger Cody Bellinger. The Mets open their season tomorrow at home against the Pittsburgh Pirates.
That's WNYC's Amanda Rosone reporting.
WNYC receives support from Poster House in Chelsea, presenting Love and Fury, New York's Fight Against AIDS, a look at the city's grassroots response to a public health crisis. On view now, more at posterhouse.org/WNYC. Every day, WNYC is working to get closer to New York and to New Yorkers. The underwriting we get from businesses helps power our independence. Learn how your organization can join in at sponsorship.wnyc.org.
WNYC members make it all happen. As an independent, not-for-profit news outlet, listener support is the largest share of our funding. Your donations allow us to bring you in-depth and comprehensive news every day. Just as you rely on WNYC, know that WNYC relies on you. Please become a member now. Visit WNYC.org and click on Donate.
Back to the Yankees and the Giants. As modern as sports are today, as modern as the game of baseball has become, why do they have music and an organ that sounds like it's from the 1920s? Just asking. Marketplace Morning Report is next, and then later on Morning Edition, filmmaker Sofia Coppola has won a slew of awards, yet she was very apprehensive about turning the camera on fashion designer and friend Marc Jacobs.
It was scary, and especially I felt pressure because Mark's my friend and I want to do a good job. But it was really like putting a lot in a blender and then finding a shape as we went.
Coppola talks more about her first documentary next hour right here on Morning Edition on WNYC. 39 with clear skies, partly sunny, mid-50s today, and then tomorrow, Mets home opener, eventual sunshine, mid-60s. This is WNYC in New York.
Will this oil shock push the world further towards renewables or back towards coal?
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Amazon Business, dedicated to helping businesses save time on office tasks and empower leaders with business buying solutions that support teams to focus on growing the business. Learn about smart business buying at amazonbusiness.com. And by Fidelity, a dedicated advisor can help create a comprehensive wealth plan. Investment minimums apply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC.
From Marketplace, I'm Sabri Benishore, in for David Brancaccio. The U.S. has reportedly sent Iran a 15-point plan to end the war in the Middle East. It sent the plan through Pakistan, according to Reuters. Iran has yet to respond. Oil is down a little from yesterday on that news, just below $100 a barrel. The disruptions from this conflict have made it very clear just how much the world is still dependent on fossil fuels. And one question emerging from it all is, will this push countries to become less dependent on these fuels? For more on that, we are joined now by Jason Bordoff, founding director of the Center on Global Energy Policy at Columbia University. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Fossil fuels are clearly and notoriously vulnerable to geopolitical shocks. Does this shock in particular strengthen the case for renewable energy?
I think this shock today is a reminder that oil and gas is priced in a global market. And one of the best things that you can do to insulate your economy to volatile oil and gas prices that are exposed to geopolitical risk is to reduce how much you use in the first place. And one way to do that is to electrify more of your economy and then try to produce more of that electricity with domestic sources. Renewables could be nuclear power, and for some parts of the world, it's coal.
Are renewables actually more secure than fossil fuels, or do they just come with a different set of geopolitical risks?
The eventual economy that might have a lot more low carbon energy comes with a different set of geopolitical risks. That doesn't mean we shouldn't have a transition, but we need to anticipate what those risks are and try to mitigate them. And one of the most significant is the fact that so many of the technologies you need for renewables and other forms of low carbon energy, China has a 70, 80, 90% dominant position in many of those technologies.
What do we do about that? I mean, how do we deal with that?
Try to diversify. That's always been the hallmark of energy security. Policies to build more domestic capacity, which both sides of the aisle have put in place industrial policy to do. And then buffers and resilience. The Trump administration has just announced it's going to try to build a strategic stockpile of critical minerals, the way we have for oil. And depending on how that's done, that could be a useful thing to do.
After Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022, the EU sped up investment in renewable energy. Do you think we will see something like that happen again this time?
I think we probably should and might see something more significant to really take a transition toward a more electrified economy and to do much more with energy efficiency. We should remember that the largest reduction in fossil fuels as a share of the economy came in the decade after the Arab oil embargo, not in the decade after the Paris Agreement. And sometimes national security and energy security concerns can be a more powerful driver of policy action than environmental ones.
Yeah. On the flip side, some European countries responded to that 2022 energy crisis by turning back to coal rather than clean energy. Could we see more of that?
I think we will see more of that, particularly in Asia. And I think there's a time frame, there's a temporal dimension to this. In the near term, you got to do what you need to do to make sure that energy is available to people. You can heat homes, lives are at risk if we don't have energy. And emergency responses may include coal and may need to include coal. The question is the longer term lessons we take. I think lots of countries are going to look to reduce their imports of energy and reduce their exposure to volatile oil and gas markets that come with geopolitical risk.
Jason Bordoff is founding director of the Center on Global Energy Policy at Columbia University. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, let's do the numbers. Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ futures are all up in the 7 to 9/10% range, with Dow futures up 358 points. The yield on the 10-year Treasury is falling. It's at 4.34%. Meta has been ordered to pay $375 million in penalties. A New Mexico jury found the company violated state law by misleading users about the safety of Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, and of enabling child sexual exploitation on those platforms. The verdict marks the first time a jury has ruled on these kinds of claims against Meta. The company is facing a wave of lawsuits over how its platforms affect young people's mental health. Meta says it will appeal.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by GEP. With GEP Key, Agentic AI, and GEP Smart Software, GEP is at the forefront in agentic procurement orchestration and autonomous supply chains. And by Schwab. At Schwab, investors get choices ranging from self-directed investing to full-service wealth management all in one place. Learn more at schwab.com.
Here is another data point from Inflation World that is not great for consumers. Rents edged up nationwide this month, according to rental marketplace Zumper. It wasn't a big jump, 0.2% in March for one bedrooms, 0.1% for two bedrooms, but still it reverses the trend over the past year or so when Zumper's national rent index was falling month after month, led by rent deflation in regions like the South and West. Marketplace's Mitchell Hartman has more.
Let's start with where rents are up sharply. That's dense coastal cities where there's not much new housing supply or room to build, says Zumper's Crystal Chen.
Like San Francisco, rents are hitting all-time highs.
$37.90 a month for a typical one-bedroom. Tech stocks might be struggling, but as a driver of the rental market, tech is riding high.
AI-related hiring, bringing high-income renters back, stronger return to office expectations, bringing people to city centers.
Rents are still down sharply in the Sun Belt, from Florida to Texas and Arizona, where a wave of migration after the pandemic led to a lot of new apartments getting built and flooding the market. Going forward, Robert Dietz at the National Association of Home Builders expects more multifamily housing.
In lower density markets, secondary and tertiary cities, places like the Carolinas, Columbus, Ohio, Indianapolis.
Rental demand is likely to stay strong because buying a house is so unaffordable.
That means some people are going to rent longer, particularly those younger households
who are worried about the stagnant job market and getting saddled with a mortgage payment they can't afford. I'm Mitchell Hartman for Marketplace.
And in New York, I'm Sabri Benishore with the Marketplace Morning Report. From 8 p.m., American Public Media.